Time. Okay, let me go right here. Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Diaspora Radio. This is your favorite YouTube channel for all diasporans in America, UK, US, wherever you are. So long you're out of the shores of Nigeria, you are a diaspora. So today we're looking at on a topic that says a topic about it's kind of a recurring topic where a Nigerian man usually murder their wives, their Nigerian wives rather, yeah. And this has been like a trend, and it recently just happened. So today we'll be throwing more light on it, not to cast any aspersions on any gender, but to see the possible causes and probably profile some solutions to it. Somebody here on YouTube says, one comment says, old late news. I don't know if this news is old and late, but right now we are waiting on some of our co-anchors. Michael just joined, and Asomba, you are welcome. We're also waiting for Phil, IK in Philadelphia.
What can they do from here?
Yeah.
He wants to jump out, really.
Michael, you dey play game, Abi? You know say we did live.
What up? I see you now. I know. We're live. Are we live already?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay.
Mark, I can't really hear you. Your voice is
Mark,
low.
your stuff is really noisy. Yeah, it's
Low.
low.
No, why people are saying my stuff is low?
It's like
Let me see.
that's cool.
What gotta be wrong with my volume?
I see you.
I don't know if you die or y'all be doing this or not.
Come on, sit beside me.
I gotta check this later. Let me see Zoom. But
Oh, sorry, Margaret.
Huh?
let's manage. I don't want to go and mess up the settings now. So let's manage. I will scream. Let's manage my volume for today. Okay.
Maybe there's cotton wool inside the mouthpiece of your computer.
Maybe.
Hi.
Okay. Well, Henry just joined.
Um,
Welcome, Henry. Hello. You're welcome, sir. Henry.
Husband and wife did there.
Yeah, I invited. I want to meet
Henry,
you.
how far now?
So, okay, Ekelem just joined.
Sinkaye. they are aligned.
Our sister in the Lord.
I pronounce your name well. Your last name well. Sinkaye.
Okay. So, like I said, today's topic is about like a recurring topic whereby a Nigerian kills their Nigerian wife. And it's usually in the medical field. It's either a doctor or a nurse, which is very popular. So I saw the topic again. I'm like, why is this always coming up? So I want to ask a question here first to Henry. Do you think that there is like any justifiable reason for the Nigerian man to kill his wife here? Do you think do you think it's justifiable for him to do that?
There's no reason for anyone to take any person's life. No way you would say justifiable unless maybe if the person is a terrorist or is a threat to someone else's life or so. If it's just because of personal reasons or this, I don't think there's anything there to say is justifiable for you to take someone else's life.
Mhm. Okay, yes. That is awesome. No reason justifiable to take anyone's life. What do you think about maybe the man? There's like a frustration. So men, like one guy in the comment says, the woman must have pushed him to the walls. Like maybe the children are not ease. You see, that kind of thing can cause frustration to kill. because there's not just one. This is not just the first time. This is like the 1 million time we can ever count. So this happens most times in the medical field. So Sister Shayo, why we call you Sister Shayo? Shayo. Sorry. So Shayo, we have Shayo in the house. Thanks for joining us today. We're happy to have ladies in the house today. Before it's just men. And Shayo, this
You're
question, I
welcome.
want you to give us your own insight on this. Do you think it's only in the medical field that it happens? And also, there is also this established routine of Nigerian men who are here. They go to Nigeria to bring a lady, you know, established men here, they go to bring a Nigerian lady here. And when the lady gets to to the West, they become accustomed to the laws. Do you think that is the reason? Do you think that's the reason? And most of them, they come into nursing and all of that. Do you think that's the reason? If the woman makes more money than the man, and the man becomes too jealous and all of that. Do you think that's one of the reasons that leads to the end of all this?
I think that, just like Henry said, is really like nobody has the right to take anybody's life. But all these circumstances that usually happen, one thing we have to realize is that we really do not know the cause of the death. Like we just read and put our own interpretations, which is very important. I don't think it only happens in the medical field. It might just be that the ones that we've heard about is in the medical field. But it's hard to specifically talk or say why it happened. For example, some people will say maybe it's money. Okay, they brought the wife from Nigeria. Whatever the situation is, there are people that brought their wives from Nigeria and they're any more than their husbands, and life is still good. It can go both ways. But why it's difficult for me to really weigh in on the topic is because, for example, in this situation, if I really knew what happened, like people are the ones speculating. If this man was a jobless man now, they'll say, it's money. But this is like a medical doctor who money shouldn't be a problem. And people should realize that there's also mental health issues. A lot of people, because in Nigeria, where we're coming from, it's not really glorified. Like people don't talk about the mental health part of life, what they are going through and all that stuff. So our background is helping to shape, our culture and background is helping to shape the narrative, which might not necessarily be. Because I was reading somewhere, I don't know how true, everybody's spinning their own that this man and the wife, they lived in that house for 20 years. So if they've lived in that house for 20 years, how come 15 years ago it was not the problem? How come it was just recently? So there are many things, there are many factors that can play into the trend. And another important factor is where we are, like I said, where we are coming from is a big factor. Most men, I'm not saying in this situation, I'm just giving my general opinion. Most men see women that make more money than them as a threat. Now, it's not a threat. Let me rephrase it. Let me not put it that way. Let me put it this way. Where we are coming from, men is all in all. Women don't have a right. For example, divorce. You see a person, the husband impregnated her, divorced her, threw her out of the house, her husband died, and then here it's not like that. There are laws that guide everything. So in a situation whereby the lady comes into this country and starts to find out that, there are many rights I can do. Like I don't have to cook all the time. I don't have to do that all the time. It becomes a problem. And our culture is now saying that, that woman is proud, she's this, she's that, which is what I'm just speaking generally, not in this particular situation, which is what some people might term as, they bring wives from Nigeria and now they are changing, they are becoming proud, which is not a justifiable reason anyways. But I think that's the main thing. The differences of the way women are empowered here is different from the way women are empowered back home.
Okay, should we blame it? Let me go to Michaela now. Michaela, you are welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey.
Yeah. So the American system seems to favor
Women.
ladies. Do you agree with that as an American? And also, do you think there's also domestic violence like this we see in Nigeria? Do you think there's this same men killing their wife in the American system?
Yes, now sometimes it goes both ways in America. I would say that when you're going back home to Nigeria, yes, there are different dynamics for male and for women. Like over here, you would say, the women have too much power here, or, because we see domestic violence as a problem, you know what I'm saying? So, the saying, see something, say something. Most Americans are more likely to communicate what the problem is versus, oh, this is just my husband and this he'll change over time. I will just allow him to be. You get what I'm saying? So it's very different here than it is back in Nigeria. And there's a lot of domestic violence issues here in America because women feel as though um, there are so many options that you have here. As American women, we feel like, okay, we have so many options. So it's not like we have to stick with this one particular person if they're not, healthy. It's not a healthy relationship you get. Whereas in some Nigerian cultures, it doesn't matter, how your husband is. Our relationship, all marriages is not supposed to be good and cupcakes and roses all the time. So you just kind of weather the storm. You get so it's hard to say. Yes, there is domestic violence here in America, and yes, I would say that women are a little bit more favored. I don't know how it is in Nigeria, but I would say because even with dealing with Michael, he'll be like, women have too much power over here. Or women say something, we are gone. So I mean, it's just like to be able to protect everyone as a whole. Men have this. The men can do the same thing that the women do. Just most men don't do it because of the way that it looks.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All
So
right.
if I were to do something to him, he can call the police on me. If he was an American man, he wouldn't want to call the police on me because it would seem like he was in the wrong. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
if I were to call the police on him, oh, he's this bad person. So we can actually send each other to jail here in America versus, maybe one
Favor
person.
the woman more. Like, for example, when if you have a fight with in your own house, if you have a fight with your wife, if the police comes, they ask the man to leave. Is that correct? Do they ever ask the woman to leave?
They will ask the women to leave. It usually is based off of who, what officer is answering. If they see that one person is more toxic than the other, they'll say, is there somewhere you can stay? Is there someone that you can call? Maybe you should stay at your mom's for a couple of places. So it just generally depends on who you get. Sometimes they use the man, sometimes they use the woman. It's not really specific.
Okay, that's a good one. IK, okay, we have two IK here. One from Philadelphia. IK, welcome, and one from Chicago. Philadelphia, IK. I want you to respond to this comment right here. It says, when emotions are bottled up without expressions, they make people snap in odd ways. For example, the reason I'm saying this usually happen in most is very popular in the Nigerian territory or terrain is that many people are saying we work too much and we don't talk. We don't really talk out what the problem is, and the Nigerians are too busy with work that we don't even take care of our mental health. So, do you think this could be a possible reason, or what do you have to say about emotions being bottled up?
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. I think, Shayo, you mentioned something about mental health. I know back home, mental health have really been overlooked. Like, we only see mental health like somebody really going crazy, but we forget that craziness comes in different ways. You have people being neurotic or psychotic in different. Somebody can still be able to go to work and function, but their mental health is not. They are depressed. A lot of things might be happening to them, and so I totally agree with that. And again, back home in Nigeria, we men are not really conditioned to express how they feel, and sometimes there's this generational cause for men back home where we feel like the only way we'll be able to express how we really feel is by violently laying hands on people, and that's why I used to have some discussion with a couple of guys. I'm like, hey, we need to break this generational cause where that we feel like it's the only way we can express how we feel is by being either emotionally abusive or physically abusive to women, but rather being able to talk it out, have a conversation. And we should understand that in marriage, or relationship, either boyfriend, girlfriend thing. It's more about kind of a little bit of partnership, where you should be able to have an understanding or be able to hear people out, because there's different about just saying, but be able to listen. So I totally agree with that not being able to express our feeling. I know when you keep, putting water into a bottle for a longer time, there's gonna get a time, it's gonna overflow because it's a bottle that has a volume. So if the volume is 50 milliliter and you keep on putting water, if it gets to 50.5, it's going to overflow. I think it's one of the things that is happening to in regards to the whole situation. But another thing I'm going to say is when I was still in Ohio, I kind of had a privilege to have, because I like hanging out with older people, because I like to, from the experiences, I want to learn what they have gone through, and through that, I try not to repeat the mistakes that they've already done. I do hear them say a lot of things, and I do criticize them because sometimes they make some derogatory words about, oh, you marry a woman, you think she's all these, and then after she stays in US, she start behaving a particular way. I'm like, okay, the truth is that back home, there's this fallacy that's been portrayed that because women, there wasn't this girl education for a very long time. So men perpetuated this idea that women are weak. When I mean weak, not just physically weak, but emotionally weak, intellectually weak, in many perspectives. So they were subjected to different kind of things, like they don't have to say anything. All they need to do is just bear children, cook, and stuff like that. But we start realizing that women are doing great stuff. That women can. Before my mother died, she was doing her PhD. She was having kids. She was doing a lot of building like a lot of this. So this kind of changed my idea about women. I start realizing, like, I do tell my wife every time, like, hey, you are more intelligent than me. Like, I've seen things women can do. So what am I trying to say here? My point is that a lot of men feel threatened by women when they feel like women are doing a lot of things. And we, being men, we can be a little bit egocentric sometimes. Like, or we can also get influenced by our fellow men, where we'll be like, oh, your woman, oh, so you're washing dishes. How can you be washing dishes whereas your woman is here? But they forget that you don't live with that guy. That guy just came to your house to have a drink or have a discussion with you. He's gonna go back. But this is a wife that you make day-to-day decision with. Like when you talk about grocery, when you talk about having kids, when you talk about raising your kids, these are somebody. So why will you allow the influences of what somebody tells you to do? So I think these are the things I feel like is happening to a lot of situations that we see people killing or whatever. It's because people get threatened by their ego. And sometimes the truth be said, most of, like, based on that privilege I have with these older people in Ohio, then they were telling me that most of the decisions they made because when they hear their friends say something about how that they used to do this stuff, like wash dishes or do something, but when their friend comes over and see them making fufu, they'll be like, oh, your wife is at home and making fufu and stuff, or you are carrying the baby and why would you be doing that? Then the next thing, they start turning against your wife. So I feel like all this boils down to us based on the ideology we've had back home in Nigeria that women should know their place. But we that have been in, we should know better. So I totally agree that emotional, whatever, bottling things down or not being able to talk about how we really feel or can result to this situation one day, somebody just popping up and killing their family or whatever. So
All right, thanks for that contribution. Let me share my screen right here real quick. You can see my screen. I'm on Facebook here. There's a comment that says, this guy, I don't know, his name is Oziokoval Valentine, says, moral lessons, never allow your wife to be way richer than you. IK, Chicago, please, what do you have to say about this guy's comment?
First off, I would say this comment is probably, I don't know what age the guy is living in. It might probably living back in the Stone Age or in the Iron Age, because there's something that's always happening in life, which is change, and is always constant. So whatever strategy. I don't know how to put it, but all I'll just say is, if your wife is way richer than you as a man, I don't see any offense in it, because it's left for you as a man to, step up and be responsible, do whatever you need to do as a man, do whatever you need to do as a husband, do whatever you need to do to manage your home. So even if your wife is richer than you, doesn't mean she would lord over you or she would control you.
Yeah, how would you know? How would you know if how would you know? Maybe you and your wife are earning same salary right now, and maybe next 2 months she started earning like twice your salary, third your salary. How would you know she would not lord over you?
Oh, well, it all depends on how you handle the situation, first off, because if she's beginning to don't let me say if she's beginning to, you would be the one to make sure she doesn't show you, such attitude, like being domineering because she's earning more than you and stuff like that. As long as you are doing what you need to do, you wouldn't give her the effrontery to make her talk at you or like tell you what you need to do as a man. I mean, we are almost all of us are married, and you know what you need to do to keep your home. You know what you need to do to please your wife. You know what you need to do to make sure you are up and doing. So, I mean, you would just find strategies, to make sure that she doesn't, or that kind of situation doesn't even like present itself. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but
I understand what you're saying there. Yeah, that's really perfect. Michael Asomba, we need your contribution. We have like 7 minutes more before we go. What do you have to contribute to this topic?
We've all nailed it. It's like, sometimes like me talking more about the topic right now, about the man who killed his wife. Sometimes, like IK said, IK from Philadelphia, yeah. IK really raised a very vital point, like in the aspect of him saying, from where we come from, we men are not expected to voice out their frustrations, sometimes, and which is very true. And I'm a typical example of that. Let me use myself as an example for that, because my wife is already looking at me and she wants me to actually say something about it because she actually knows. Yeah, I'll use myself as an example to that scenario, because when Ike was saying it, I was like, yeah, this guy is making sense, because I fall into that place because I'm not the type of person that I really like to voice out my frustration, you understand? So I like things to pile up. Then I allow things to pile up. Then when he has gotten to the brim, I might explode, but not exploding in the sense that beating or do this thing. Like I may explode in the aspect of voicing out my frustration at that moment. And after that, I'm done. Like I'm good, which is not always okay. So, and it's not because it's in my nature. It is what has been stipulated on us as a Nigerian man. You understand? So others might feel like they are not in that category, but sincerely, when you check yourself, you will definitely know that there's a little bit of it. So it's very vital. And for the aspect of women making more than the men, like I don't see any problem about it, like for a woman to make more than a man. So far the woman understands her place and the man understands his own place in the situation.
Hold it there.
So,
what do you mean? Hold it there, Michael. What do you mean? So far, the woman understands her place. Which of the place are
even me, I don't have problem. If my wife today is making 1 million and I they make 500, she must understand that place. So now she there. So
Just explain more. I want to really understand.
I would.
you want to understand more?
Yeah,
Okay, what I'm saying in essence is, as a man, a woman already know that a man is the head of the house. So because she's making more than me doesn't expect her to be controlling.
Okay,
Yeah, controlling. You understand? So she has to understand the fact that, okay, yes, I'm making more than you. Yes, I see you're making more than me, but I'm still your husband. I'm still the head of this house. I still have my own say, and she understands the fact that it's that way. You understand? But I don't see any problem for a woman making more than the guy. And I don't see any problem about it, and I don't have problems about it either.
Yeah,
So
it shouldn't be.
I won't make her say
You're
something.
not competing with your wife.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a competition. Exactly, it's not a competition. So it's not a competition. I think it deals more about understanding. If you guys understand each other and can communicate it among yourself, and have a lay down foundation for yourselves. I feel okay. It's not about, even though she makes more than you, it's just like, okay, most of these things is all about the household and what happens around. If you're bringing 50%, okay, let's share this thing half. You're bringing 50%, and me as a man, I'm also performing my obligation as a man. I don't think there will be any problem about it. And me as a man, me having my own, and I know that my woman gets each time I don't have. It's not a bad thing to go and ask her, babe, I need so and so. Please help me out. So it doesn't ridicule you in any way. So far, you're performing your obligation as a man, and she is there helping you out. I don't see any problem with it.
Who even want to go marry woman where would they blow? Who want to go marry woman where would they blow? Now woman will get money for her, and you go, now the thing now. So
I agree with IK in Philadelphia, because I would say that from the outside looking at it, as Americans, we are very talkative, we are very emotional. Our dealings is more like we're so consumed with our partners that we lose ourselves in them. Does that make sense? So like if Michael is sad, babe, what can we do? What do we need to do? So I would say that as women, as American women, just knowing Michael, it's hard to talk to him about things because when he gets upset, he'll be upset for like ever. And I'm like, if you just communicate, if you say, okay, hey, look, this is my problem. This is my problem. And this is what can we do to fix this problem that I'm having internally? But if you don't say anything, you overflow. You'll overflow with all this emotion. And I feel like because way back when in the United States, men used to have all this burden on their shoulders. Like they had to have house, they had to have car, they had to make sure all the bills were paid, whether, they had to struggle to try to make it by themselves because they felt like, okay, what am I doing asking my wife to pitch in? You get what I'm saying? So now in the generation that I live in, it's more so help. It's hard being a man. Having all these things on your neck is not easy. It isn't easy. And to be, someone to be sitting there like, so what are we going to eat though? So I feel like in this generation, we have to be more, as one.
One question.
Some people might have, some shortcomings, and you might have some shortcomings, and that you guys together as a whole need to communicate to make it better for both of you. Yeah. I think that sometimes in relationships, you're so used to having things your way, and whatever you say go because you're the man of the house, that you miss the fact that who's that other person there that has your has your back, who's in your corner, who you talking to every day, who you complaining about every day, who you gossiping with when you come home. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like as men, you guys have to also understand that women, we need that emotional support too. It's not all about
man, Makira. Hold on a second, Makira. I know you really good. Before I cut you short, I want to ask Shayo one last question. And Michael said something before we go. I think we are done. Michael said a woman can make money more than a man, so long the
Mhm.
woman knows her
Her
place.
place.
Yeah. So is it easy for a woman to know her place when she makes more money? Is what do you think?
That's
Is
a
it
good
easy
question.
as a lady? I'm not a lady. I know
Yeah,
how it
that's a good question.
I think that to answer that question, first of all, everybody has to know what they view marriage as. I view marriage as a partnership. It does is a see. There's no. That's why I say I always refer to our culture. You see, one of my friends, I'll call him a mentor. He's a white man, American white man. He does everything. He tells me, "Oh my God, you're working so hard," because he views a woman as staying at home. His wife has always stayed at home. So it's not peculiar to us. But what I'm saying is marriage is a partnership. That's the partnership he has with his wife. Is working for them. So if my personal opinion is, I don't care if I make $20 million. It makes our partnership work better because if we want to buy a house of 5 million, that means I can put the money down. Who cares if I'm the one who put it down? So when you talk about place, I don't think a woman or man's place are defined roles. When you think about the things you think of roles, place, is based on your culture. Like IK Philadelphia said, a woman should cook. Who says so? There's nothing wrong in it. But what if you were the one that you were off the whole day and she was the one who worked the whole day? You see what I'm saying? What if your own job is to stay at home, you work on the computer? She has to go, it's just the way I feel like when you view marriage as a partnership, finances work better. And there will not be all those tussle of she's proud, he's proud, because some other women's view of marriage is that my husband must do everything. My husband is taking care of me. But my own prayer is that let me be able to do these things myself, do for my family, and let my husband also be able to do. Because at the end of the day, if you see it that way, or let me just summarize it by saying that what we mean as a woman's place traditionally is wrong. If you come with your culture, because if your father comes to your house and your father sees you washing plates morning to night, he will say, your wife, that's a woman's role, African mentality.
Sorry, I didn't get there's a statement you made before you saying traditionalists are not.
Yes, I said what we
No.
view traditionally as a woman's role or a man's role is wrong. Traditionally, we view a man's role as sole financial provider. Traditionally, we view a woman's role as homemaker. For example, you hear a man say, "Shebi na your pikin, is your child now." His upbringing is not part of, so long as he drops money at home. So what I'm saying is that with all this exposure we have, and like everybody has said, education, times have changed. We have to begin to view relationships as partnership. What is your partnership with your own spouse? Not what Shayo said Yoruba people do. Not what IK said Igbo people do. What is your partnership with your wife? At the end of the day, things must be done in the home. It doesn't matter who is backing the baby. It doesn't matter who is bringing that money home. And I think it's Mark that said it. All these people that talk, they will still go back to their homes. It's two of you that will be remaining. Even some men, when they make mouths, when they get home like this, they will be humble. Because when bill come, now woman will drop them. It's the truth. But some people might not even know outside that it's woman that is paying the bill. Why? Because if you make your partnership work, that's happy marriage. That's it. Now, I'm not giving an excuse for a man to be lazy. Say, okay, a man should sit at home. Oh, my wife is. But what I'm saying is that as God can help each of you at any point in time, knowing your place really means that at this point in time, how can I make my marriage better? For example, if my husband is the one making more and I have more time at home, meaning that my place should be able to do more homework. Now, as a man, if your woman is the one making more money and you have more time, your place at that point in time is to help support her because she's the one bringing the most. That's my take on the whole issue.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was a nice one. We've come to the end of sorry, we took 6 minutes extra. We've come to the end of this broadcast. I want to say thank you to IK in Chicago, IK in Philadelphia, Eri from Indiana, the Asombas, and of course our sister, oh God, I didn't go see Sister Shayo. Our doctor in the house, Dr. Shayo. Thanks.
Please, oh, this sister you want to give me, I beg. I don't going to pay us for calling people sister, brother, because I don't know why it's me. You are tagging this sister tonight.
Dr. Shayo in the house. We say thank you for joining us. We hope to see you some other time. If we have another topic, we'll try to invite you. And God
Thank you.
bless you all. And from now, this is Diaspora Radio, please subscribe and click the like on the YouTube link. We'll see you next Sunday, hopefully, God's willing. And yep, I don't got time for YouTube. Thank you all. Thank you for joining.